Hey everyone, I just wanted to make a quick video on displacement and where it can be applied in your trading. So I have an indicator on here that's just showing me significantly large open to close candles or large body candles, and that's what's being highlighted in yellow. So usually my main focus with displacement is using it to mark valid market structure shifts. So if I'm looking at this old low right here, we can see we swept through it pretty quick, probably on new since it was at 8 o'clock. This could definitely be taken as a market structure shift that failed as price went back to the upside. But now when we do notice that displacement in the other direction, there's a few ways we could play this if we assume that this is a valid market structure shift to the upside and we want to see a continuation higher. So first priority I think would be marking out our market structure shift. So we have this local high from the displacement lower. We ran that and held above it for quite a while. And now we have a couple ways to see a setup to see these highs again. So first you could say we have a balanced price range. So if I turn on that indicator, we can see we have fair value gaps on either side. So if we take the overlapping area between the two and extend that out in time, we can see price respected that area pretty well. We also have a potential box setup here where we have this initial consolidation. We have a quick manipulation back under and back through. And as we come back down to test that initial area of interest, that could be an opportunity to get long. And lastly, you could look for an optimal trade entry that was created from this initial displacement range where price came into this 0.62 fib and respected that zone. But the only reason I'm even considering looking at all this is because of this initial displacement. The reason being is that you want to see aggression with your market structure shift. So if we look at another example, we could say, okay, now that we took these highs right here, maybe we're looking for a market structure shift below these lows. But with a market structure shift, you want to see an aggressive move down and not really just a lackluster, just barely getting below those lows, which is what price is doing right here. So the fact that it's failing to displace to the downside right here should be telling that there could be a move to the upside. And now we do get that displacement candle over this short-term high, coupled with a fair value gap as well. And regardless of whether you can apply, order blocks or optimal trade entries, that all comes after the fact that you initially have that displacement. So displacement is the key to get that initial market structure shift, and then anything after that is just supporting evidence to potentially take a trade in that direction for a continuation. And an example from today's session, you have these big up close candles on the market open, and obviously you're usually going to see some volatility at the open and the close, but price does not really offer an opportunity to get in on a pullback to see these higher targets. It just keeps running away. Then ultimately you get this big down close bar. So we could zoom out and see if there's anything interesting going on. So we do have this gap in price from the Sunday night open. That could be one factor of confidence for why this would be an area of resistance. And if we take that initial chart and actually go down to something a little smaller, maybe a 30-second, just to refine our entry a little more, this is where the displacement occurred, right in this area. So we have, first of all, a fair value gap right here. If you watch my video on breaker block setups, you could notice that these two higher highs have a short-term low in between them, and that this candle could act as your breaker block. So we have price rejecting from the Sunday night open. You had a 1-minute displacement back down showing some potential aggression from sellers. And then on this 30-second chart, you have a fair value gap and a breaker block setup. So with all those factors combined, you can potentially look to short this move. And again, I want to come back to the fact that this was only possible because we noticed this displacement right here. And I'm not saying you need to have this indicator to be able to see displacement. It's very obvious what a big up close or down close candle looks like, but I'm just trying to make them stand out a little more here so it's obvious where the displacement is coming from. So now that you know you want to look for displacement through an old high or low to determine a market structure shift, you could also get value from a lack of displacement. And this is one reason why you want to have a fluid bias as market structure plays out, because you could be expecting a large displacement over this high, which could give us a nice optimal trade entry or something to send price higher. But what happens if that doesn't play out? So noticing this short-term high, you see price closes above it on the 1-minute chart, but then quickly closes below. So the fact that it couldn't sustain this price could indicate that we are headed lower, and the fact that we do create this fair value gap on the 1-minute chart could be a hint at seller aggression here. So again, from the breaker block video, anyone who got long in this leg is now being punished with a quick market structure shift below. So those buyers are kind of underwater here, and now as price retraces into this area, they're going to look to mitigate those positions and sell at near break-even prices so they don't incur a loss. And obviously this idea can be applied to any time frame. So we have the short-term high right here, price runs above it but cannot close above. So we could see this failure to displace above that old high as a hint that price could be heading lower. And a failure to displace is also very similar to the inducement setups that I like to trade. It's the same idea that, the market is just taking out stops, resting above these highs before continuing in their preferred direction. So I'll leave this indicator in the description in case it helps you see displacement a little better. That's all I really wanted to cover as far as displacement being a good tool to pair with market structure shifts, and also a lack of displacement being a potential hint at failed moves. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the comments or send me a DM on Twitter or anything. If you found the video helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. That's all I had for now, and I'll see you in the next one.